I love a good anime chess match. Those types of battles that aren't decided necessarily by blades, but in the case of the Genius Prince, sometimes blades unfortunately get involved and also lead to deaths in ways you can't predict. But holy shit, because I love Wayne's character. I love how he's manipulative, but he understands when to help those who he cares for. But ultimately, we know damn well there's two things in this world that he puts above all else. That is himself and Nim. Those are the two things he cares most about in this world. So as much as he cares about LOWA and everyone like that, you have to force his hand. If you force his hand and beat him strategically, you have that nice game of chess, then yes, he will help you because you've involved him and Nim, so yes, he will help a friend in need. And to watch this episode take place and seeing the building blocks occur as both think they have the upper hand on the other. And it's great to see a character challenge Wayne's intelligence because up until this point we really haven't dealt with that. It's been less intelligent commanders who in any other battle probably would have done just fine, as otherwise they would have been dead long ago. So to see someone really challenge his mental fortitude and how we build up to this prince who should have come. Logically, no one would have just gallivanted into a neighboring kingdom who they're about to probably have war with. And to see how both think the other is screwed is completely fantastic because, I mean, at any possible moment, Wayne could be roped into using his military strength in order to aid in something that he's trying his best to avoid. But at the same time, LOWA herself is also reaching a point where she might end up marrying this ugly bastard for no political gain. If she gains something out of it, she'd do it with a smile on her face. But if she gets roped into it for other reasons, yeah, she's probably going to be the one taking a jump off the balcony. And when they were building up the moment of the duel, right? Because when they were originally talking about how, like, he spent his days fencing and things like that, I was like, oh shit, that's going to force his hand because now he's going to really know he's good with the sword. Like, oh yeah, I could use a man like you on the battlefield or something like that. And to see how he had a good plan ultimately. Like, he can't lose. If he loses, his men are going to think he's a piece of shit. Like, what the hell, you can't even beat this drunken fat prince? Like, why would we want to follow you? So he has to defeat him, but make it look like at the very least he's not disrespecting the guy. And I love the idea that he kind of almost wins by a fluke there. And then because he's just trying to make it look like he dropped this sword and was going to avoid, this fool literally crashes through the goddamn balcony. And originally I was like, okay, he's definitely dead. But then when I saw Nim kind of jump down after him, I was like, oh, it's actually not that bad of a fall. If she can jump and land on her legs and not be like, damn, my bones hurt. Oh, it's probably just a goof, like, you know, he broke his spine, he can't walk or something. And then she just is like, yeah, I don't know how to reveal this, but he's deceased. And I'm like, this couldn't get any better. Because you have our boy sending a letter to the dad, and then suspiciously, the son is now dead too. It ain't looking good. And I love how rather than continuing simply with the battle of wits, which don't get me wrong would be completely fun to continue seeing, I do like the idea that it's kind of like on equal playing field, that we're kind of both involved in this right now. What do you want to do? Well, they have 4,000 troops, and financially we can afford maybe 500. So yes, we understand why you don't want to get involved in war, but how do you deal with something like this? Well, you get them to reveal their secrets before war actually takes place. And I love seeing all these building blocks occur because there is so much chemistry between the cast, especially with Nim and Wayne. I mean, seriously, that moment where she is just so upset, she is grumpy beyond words, and the fact that he's like, hey, you know, just think of me, think of happy thoughts, and she's like, okay, and then just casually sits on his lap. And I love that moment particular because originally he's, you know, initially embarrassed because he's like, wait, what are you doing? That's not what I was expecting. But they both like the other, so minus that initial embarrassment because it was so sudden, you can have like a generally serious conversation with her sitting on his lap because this isn't the, oh, does the other one know the other likes him? Of course, they both know how they feel. It's just with the political landscape the way it is, he can't marry what his heart wants. And I love, it was actually in last week's comment, I had a couple of people point this out, that it would make a lot of sense because with the way he was talking to LOWA in the backstory about changing things, you know, the cultural histories, people didn't used to use forks to eat their food, but eventually over enough time, because people accepted it, they started doing it as well. So if you want to be taken seriously, not just because you're a girl and you're the youngest of the siblings, force their hand and show that change. It also seems like it was pointed out that most likely Wayne is going to try to do something similar so he can marry Nim down the line. And that actually makes a lot of sense for his character, because on top of just wanting to be having a lazy lifestyle, ultimately he wants to have that lazy lifestyle and marry who he wants. So it'd be a cool kind of formula that if that was kind of like the end goal of the story, to be able to shift focus of your people and just who he can marry and things like that. But overall, just watching yet again another dialogue heavy episode, yeah, there was a little taste of action, but that action I don't really think you can really call action, because it's a skilled warrior versus a drunken slob who accidentally killed himself because not only did he go through the goddamn window, he went over the balcony on top. Like, most people, I think, would be like, holy shit, I already crashed through the window, I need to fall backwards or something. But this man's like, nah, hold my beer, I'm gonna show you a magic trick, and that magic trick cost him his life. Like, this show is so well done. I continue to love the aesthetic of it. I think we got a brand new shot as well in this episode, really showing another piece of landscape. Landscape is always one of my favorite things in anime, because when you give a background artist time to really flex what they can do, you can really bring a world to life. And we've seen a lot. I mean, I love the messy aesthetic in Wayne's room with the books and things like that. And I love just seeing the general landscape to get a sense of what this world is and what it looks like, because yeah, we know it's another medieval anime world. Okay, we could easily just pass it off as everyone knows what it looks like. But having every episode show us more of the trees and the buildings, the architecture, it really just gives it a sense of identity alongside the very personal cast. And I really like the trio we have going on here, because I love how they're all friends, they all care about each other, but they clearly have their own visions, and that's what should happen in this world, right? Because ultimately, this isn't a world where, okay, we just live in the same country and, we ultimately can do whatever we want and not have to worry. No, I mean, for LOWA, for Wein, for Nim, they all have their individual desires, and that does separate them from different kingdoms. And if you really want to be able to do what you want, you need to force your friends' hands to aid you, because they're damn skilled and will be able to get the job done with you. And to see how far characters like LOWA will actually go to get the job done, it's pretty admirable, I have to admit. I mean, I really like how she's not just going with the flow, she's trying to change things, she's trying to do what she can, and she actually feels like someone who can get the upper hand on our boy, which is nice, because if he was someone who no one could ever outsmart or catch him off guard, it'd get pretty boring pretty fast. But I like how there are characters who can give him a run for his money, even if they're not going to necessarily succeed 100% of the time. This show, fantastic. Comedy on point because it's unexpected comedy. I love Wayne's reactions. I love the unexpected death that is just like, holy shit. When these two go at it, you might want to go on vacation so you don't end up as the casualty in their plans, but damn, this show's awesome. I'm very, very excited for more. Just getting better, if I'm being honest, and I'm looking forward to future battles whenever we do see them. Thoughts and feelings on the episode, the kind of death that was unexpected before maybe the battle took place, but let me know your feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.